friends, welcome back to Challenge Accepted. Kathy and I are going to use this sketch right here today. I believe she picked out the sketch and it is pretty darn cool and it's kind of open to a lot of different ideas. So I'm looking forward to playing along with it. I think I'll put that right here for now. I'm going to be using, I have these 3 paper scraps and these 2 I think are from Christmas collections. Yes, they are. This is just from a paper pad, and this is a My Mind's Eye on the Bright Side pad, or I'm sorry, from the On the Bright Side collection. This is a photo I'll be using right here. It's my oldest daughter and her boyfriend. She had her wisdom teeth taken out on this day, and she is wrapped up in an ice pack, and he's over to visit. It's ridiculous, and it's funny, and all that stuff all at the same time. So that's a fun photo to use for this. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to start playing with it and take you along with me. Here we go, friends. So I really like this sketch because it is a simple design and you can go in a kind of a lot of directions with it, but more importantly, I get to use a bunch of scraps with this, which is always a personal fave. So I am using a full sheet of pattern paper and then, like I said, 3 different scraps from the current kit that I'm playing with. And a lot of these pieces, like that red one as well as the turquoisey ones, both of those are from Christmas collections. So as you're going through all your Christmas supplies this month and you're starting to put stuff away, flip over your pattern papers to see if you might be able to get a little bit more traction and not have to put all those supplies away, because you might be able to use them for different layouts coming up. That's, yeah, tip of the day, because that's what I decided to do. I keep putting all of these scrapbooking goodies away for the year, and then I was like, well, why am I doing that? There is some really good stuff that does not have to be only used, for that picture in front of the tree. And I think that this is working just fine for that. So I'm attaching my pattern papers down and lining them up to the best of my ability. The photo is going to go right there. So as you see, it's actually looking a lot like the sketch, which I don't always do. Now, a bunch of you know that rub-ons are one of my main product focuses for this year, to try to use up for my scrap room. So I have on the top of my desk right now like a black and white set of rub-ons and then a couple sets of color rub-ons. So I'm trying to work through those and then go from there so that I might actually be able to use up a few sets. Now I am electing to put this rub-on to start onto a piece of white scrap paper. I wanted to see if these rub-ons work, and that's a way that it makes me feel more comfortable in the beginning than just going for it. Now I think this is the set of rub-ons that the gold ones are not coming off very well, the metallic stuff. But the colored ones are, and I mean, I've had these rub-ons for years and years, so I'm sure from when this collection came out, or they're hand-me-downs or something, I have no idea anymore. But the colored ones work for some reason a lot better than the metallic, so there's definitely some kind of a different process or formula that goes into the different finishes on these. So I'm going to cut this out and use it as a really large embellishment on my page. So I liked that little key, that was pretty, and I was looking at these different sticker pieces. I'm trying to see if I can get some traction on this One Canute to Hazelwood sticker sheet. I'm seeing what pieces might work. I mean, they match, but they don't match, but they match, if you know what I mean. So I was seeing what works there. I did attempt to use some of the gold rub-ons, like I said, and that just didn't work. I had to get the residue off with a white eraser, and it did work really well. And you saw I was just looking at another sticker sheet that ended up being a fail as well. So it's, yeah, I'm taking a look at things. I have like kits that I scrapbook from, and generally I can find something to use within the kit. And if I really have to, if the kit doesn't work, then I go ahead and take a look at my color drawers, and I can always bring in additional product. So it is time to get our title on here, and I tend to start my titles on a piece of waxed paper because I like to move it around a little bit and make sure that my spacing is pretty good. All right, so I've gone ahead and attached my title. I did have to use liquid adhesive for the word couple. The goals part of my title are on foam, so those worked out really well. And yes, I do know I have a lowercase g and uppercase other letters, but my goal, which makes me sound really cheesy considering, is to use up my alphas and use up my stash as I have it and not get too precious about it being absolutely perfect, if that makes sense to you. So this is, I think those are from Wild Child, these little embellishments that I have on the lower left side. And I did cut off the little stars piece that was attached to this little tent piece just because I want to be able to use my product. If I really want to one day, I can use that tent piece without the stars. And I've gone ahead and popped up this great little metallic blue piece, and yes, wow, is that glowing with my lighting. Uh, right, I mean, it's right to the left. Does that make sense? It's to the left of my photo. And I thought that was really cool because these are some embellishments that I have had kicking around and I've used a number of different times, but I was able to get a few of the different pieces onto this layout. So you never know if you just put a kit together and you go by the mood and feel, as Janet would say, and you just start going for it, you never know what you might be able to put together. Because I had no idea that I would be scrapbooking this layout when I put it together, but I think it is actually working. So that is good. Anywho, and on the right side, that's a little bin I have of, it's, you know, one of those like photo bins, iris container things. I have just a bunch of labels and I'm trying to see what might work out of all of them. I'm going to go ahead and use my tab punch to layer my label. I don't know, to create a little layered embellishment to the lower right on my page. I felt like I needed just a little something extra. So I did create a nice little cluster on the bottom with 3 pieces of the pattern paper that are in my upper cluster. And I did go ahead also in the foam alphas. I went to see if they had any, like, you know, like little decorative bits in there, and they had a geotag. And I feel like you can use a geotag in every single layout because you are always where you are in the layout. That sounded brilliant. Anyway, but I do think you can use a geotag. It's just kind of like a cute little symbol. I went ahead and did a rub on of that peachy colored arrow that's right by the word couple onto a little white scrap. I went ahead and did that, and I also am taking a look to see if any of the other rub-ons would work for this page. I did, what was I going to say? Oh, and once again, I did try another one of the metallic gold pieces, and it was a heart. It just did not work. And this is the point where I'm going to go ahead and start making a plan for doing that rectangular box in thread around this layout. And I'm going to go ahead and use my little pokey tool and one of those Amy Tan little mats. And I'm going to just do fairly regular little dots so that I'll be able to easily do a running. Did I end up doing? I think I did a running stitch on this layout. All right, so that's completed, and I did it really simply, but it adds a lot because it's a really big textural difference. And now I'm going through this little this bin I keep that has product I've used recently. And before I go ahead and put it back into its assigned little crafty areas, I go ahead and take a look at it and see what I can use on other layouts. So I found this little set of words that were from a Valentine collection, and I was able to add just a few little pieces. Now, I mean, it was a really themey Valentine collection I got from a kit club, and uh, I've really been pleasantly surprised how many of those little lovey words I've been able to fit here and there. These are some older, yes, see right there, Pink Fresh Felicity wood veneer, and I was able to use the teal ones in a few places. Now these are super cool. These are really old Maggie Holmes like shiny puffies, and the peachy pink color is absolutely spot on. So that was cool. So just by going into that bin, I was able to fill out this layout just a little bit more. And yeah, and I used more stash, which is super cool. All right, so these are these really great gems. They are in black. I think they're just from Walmart in the little craft department. They're like $1 or $1.50. Those are by We Are Memory Keepers gems, and I believe I procured those from Tuesday morning, and they were $1.19, and I don't know why I would remember that. So there you go. There's a close-up of the layout. I'll leave the link to Kathy's channel, and you can see what she came up with for this challenge. I'm sure it is absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for watching.